some history on street racing.
That way the kids don't have any reason to be on the public streets.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the interview. My name is Christopher Harris. I am the co-founder of the African American Racers Association. And this is the first episode of a continuing series that we're going to do where we highlight influential and legendary African Americans in motorsports of all types of disciplines, whether it's drag racing, stock car racing, motocross, supercross, anything that has an engine. We want to highlight the Black heroes because we believe there's so many little kids that need to have heroes that look like them and need to hear their stories so they can understand that they can accomplish the same thing. They don't just have to dream about it, you know, they can actually do this. So I am honored to have the first interview with a gentleman that I've actually friended in this industry. We met when I was a general manager at Palm Beach International Raceway. He has, you know, raced around this world, and him with Larson Motorsports came to the track, a world-class organization, and I've watched them single-handedly shut down an entire facility. There's a million things going on, and then when it's time for them to do their thing, you forget how many people are in the venue because everybody is watching the spectacle. And I tell you, the first time I ever got to see a jet car was at that track. And I've seen it online, and there's nothing like watching a jet car go down the track. The sights, the sounds, the feels, you don't realize the sensor overload, and it was amazing. So this gentleman I have here with me is, in the 8 billion people that are in this world, the only African-American jet car driver. So without further ado, his story is amazing. I want to introduce you guys to my friend DeWayne Hill. D, what up, baby?
What's going on, Chris, man? I have to let the air out my head a little.
You earned
it. Yeah, man. I was good. How you been?
Good. I'm excited for this new endeavor, and you know, I really wanted to chop it up with you and let the people who don't know who you are. Your resume is lengthy, it's decorated, and you know, I kind of want to start from the beginning, right? So, as I briefly stated, you are the only African American jet car driver in the world, in the history of the world. So from dinosaurs to now, you are the guy, right?
Well, wait, hold on. So it's funny. I would like to. There's a couple that are out there. There's actually two more that are out there. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not even sure they're still licensed. I think one is an older guy. I haven't even got their names. I've been trying to find them, but I can't really get my hands on them. So there's a few out there, but you know, like one of my homeboys said in the Marine Corps, he goes, "Yo, you just can't graduate boot camp, say I'm a Marine, and you know, call it a wrap. You know, you got to kind of hold down the title the entire time." So I may be the only licensed one, but you know, I do give my props where it's due. It's a few of them out there. So
Awesome.
Even when I start, even as I started out, I started, you know, even especially with an organization like this, I started looking for them. You know, it just can't be me. But I am the one kind of holding down the fort right now. I will say that.
Awesome. So I stand corrected. So there are a couple of out there. So kind of tell, and as you just stated, I mean, where you originally from? I mean, you just talked about briefly you being a Marine. Kind of give us the story on how you got to the beginning of getting in the seat of a drag car, let alone a jet car, but a drag car. How did it start? Where you from?
So originally I'm from a town that Samuel L. Jackson is from, and so is Usher, Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm good. A lot of people have no idea. They're both from there. They're like, wait, what? You start to see kind of how my attitude goes. You know, we're just all like that.
A lot of cursing.
I tried that. Well, back when I was a Marine, I have a filter now. That's all. I think I say fish a lot. Fish. We use the word fish. It's still 4 letters. It's still 4 letters. It's funny. I started out. I remember seeing my first jet-powered vehicle on wheels when my dad took me out to an air show one time, And I've loved airplanes, always loved airplanes. But I heard something with a huge, roar, saw the smoke, and I climbed on top of the fire truck because it didn't take off. At air show, everything's going to take off and go up. Well, it didn't. So it was Les Shockley's Shockwave. It's a jet truck with 3 jet engines on it. From that point on, I was amazed. I was amazed by it. I will say that, I'm babysitting a dog. If you hear anything bark in the background, it's not me. But
ventriloquist.
yeah, I know, right? There we go. I got you. So I still have to chastise the kids. Anyway, so from that point, I would say it did kind of drop off. I've always been a fan of airplanes, but they do say the things that you're destined to do will come back and haunt you. It will find you. It will find you. I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps. Started out as a truck driver. I've done a lot of cool things. I wish I can get Dion Cavin in here to tell you about a story called Grand Theft Auto Baghdad, where we were left by the convoy, and it was getting dark in Baghdad, and we're the only Humvee along. Needless to say, I hit everything except for a fruit stand, but we made it back to the convoy.
So you mean Call of Duty, but in real life?
Yeah, pretty much. We're just running over everything. One day we'll sit down and I'll tell you the entire story. You would laugh all the way there. After that, after I got
How
in the
was
Marine
your
Corps,
experience in the Marines? 8 years. What were you able to kind of do there?
within 8 years in the Marine Corps, I found out who my best friends were. I've also learned, it's funny because I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying, hey man, you and your friends don't even dress alike. You don't act alike. Like one of my boys, Rock from Jersey, big dude. It was like, yo, y'all just different people. And I'm like, yo, when you start to understand that you and your friends don't have to dress the same. Y'all don't have to talk the same, and y'all can still be cool. And kind of like the Marine Corps taught me that, because I've got friends from Houston and, friends from everywhere. What I've learned is, when I go out to Houston, the dragway out in Houston, if I go out to Dallas, he's driving, he's coming. So, and just taught me who my friends really, really were. Even, let's see, I've been out for 10 years now and we're still in contact, so, and it's just not normal contact. Me and him, he just got engaged. And I'm like, yo, congrats. That's my homeboy. I've learned, I have a family that blood doesn't, flow. Our same blood doesn't flow through our body. So that was one of the largest things.
And they say
also
once a Marine, always a Marine, right? Because
yeah,
I get kind of weird with saying ex-Marine, right? Because I know with the Marine Corps, it's never really an ex thing. It's weird.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a song. Everyone's heard the song "Hotel California" by the Eagles, and they have one line in that song that literally perpetuates the entire Marine Corps. It says, "You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave." That's it. That is pretty much it. That's pretty much us when it comes to Marines, and pretty much any service member. We, a lot of us, but Marines, we're kind of we're special. That's all I can say. We're just, I don't know.
You guys are definitely have the reputation. And listen, we all thank you for your service. I mean, I it couldn't have been me. So I respect this being honest. So awesome. And we appreciate everything you guys do for us. So, or done and continue to do. So you're in the Marine Corps and you did, I guess, typically it's 4 years, right? So I guess you did 2 tours and got out?
I did 2, actually another enlistment. So I did 8 years, got out, went to college for aeronautics, aviation safety. So, and that's where I met Elaine. Actually, I met Chris Larson first. Don't tell Elaine that because, don't tell Elaine. Yeah, we were at an air show, another air show. It was a balloon fest, and it literally came around again. I'm watching something smoke in the distance. I'm like, what is this? And I went to go see it, and it was a jet car. I'm like, cool. And it said my college's name on the side of it, and they were pushing it back through the crowd. And as they're pushing it back through the crowd, because they didn't really run, they just kind of pushed it through. I saw that the exhaust was still hot, and I walked up to this guy, and I go, hey, you might want someone further behind the car, to be pushing it through a crowd. So, the spectators don't touch it. So, Chris goes, you know what? That's cool. You should come by the shop, blah, 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 and ended up going to the shop. And once I walked in the shop, they had just got the shop. So it wasn't like walking into the facility that we have now, we had to build our facility. I've put up ceiling tiles, I've painted, I've planted stuff. I've been bitten by ants. I've watched people be bitten by ants, which is hilarious. So we've done it all, So it becomes just like the Marine Corps, it kind of becomes a family.
Yeah.
I've been with them a very long time. I think probably 2011 had to be like one of the right as I got out of the Marine Corps, and
they are super
I've done it
solid,
all.
man. They are. I mean, I've talked about the Larsons a lot to various people, and just really good. Like, it sounds weird that you have to use this as a compliment for people, but good people is just an understatement of who they are, personality-wise. They always put people before what they're doing. They're always looking to help, and they're just genuine people and good people. And I can't say enough about Larson's. And I took a tour of Larson's Motorsports, and it's like, you think about is how buttoned up you guys are when you get to events. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Larson's Motorsports and DeWayne and these guys at an event, but like, they set up their whole tent and corral and literally have a presence like none other. And then it's almost like showmanship. I mean, as buttoned up as everything you guys are, I had an expectation in my mind, like, okay, I'm going to go to their facility and I'm going to see some stuff. Well, my expectation was like 75, and I got like 3,075 when I walked in, and I was just like, I should have known better.
It's the Florida Institute of Technology came around and gave Larson Motorsports a chance, and we have capitalized on that. I mean, we get a lot of engineering students. We pretty much say, hey, whatever your degree is, we can find something for you to do here as an intern. So that's what we do. I mean, we have welding machines and Miller welding machines. We just have so many things that you can do. CNC, crew chief, it's just too much. So including veterinary, we got nitro. So if you want to be a veterinarian,
nitro, the little bug.
we got it's just so much, and I love it, man. So it's we have the fab bay, the fabrication bay. We're working everything. We also have the composites bay for U.S. Chemicals. They got to go show off the Dominator a little bit, but we have that. It's just, if you want to learn something, anything you can do there. So we give it the opportunities.
I've never seen. I mean, you go to places like you go to Walmart and you just see shelves and shelves of just stuff, and you go to Larson's Motorsports and like, maybe I'll see 6 or 7. There's like 500 jet engines just stacked up on shelves. And it's like, where do you find these things?
Yeah, and my job is literally to make sure they don't have to grab another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. Don't grab another engine. Not because of me. Let them go, hey, it's time to change the engine out. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Not with me, though.
Awesome. So you met Chris Larson. You came by the shop. And then what's next?
I would literally say the rest was history, but sometimes you have to tell history. From that point on, I was a safety person. I started doing the SDS stuff, started doing where they put tools and stuff like that. And then when we finally started racing, I got a lot of, the cool thing, the opportunity that the Marine Corps gave me was having that GI Bill. I didn't have to work going through college. So I could be interning with them, traveling, and still doing work at the exact same time, which helped me out. Awesome. Having my experience as a truck driver, I've driven from Edmonton. No, I'm sorry, not Edmonton. It was Grand Bend, Canada, which is just north of Detroit, all the way to Edmonton, Canada, which is the most northwest capital in North America. I mean, it is way, way, way up there. Right. So I've got to do all that.
Ice road trucker?
No, I'm going that far. That's what airplanes are for. See, at some point, my aviation comes back and go, we need a plane.
That's awesome.
But I've done that. And the same time as I'm the truck driver, I'm also a crew chief. Same time I was the truck driver, I was the we used to call it Jet Technology Center. You used to have the little stage, have the little cutout explaining how jets work and all this other stuff while everyone else is running out. So I've done literally almost everything. Like, I've literally started from the bottom. Now I'm here. That's literally where I'm at. That's if I could put it in any way, that would have been it.
Hey,
so yeah, that's it. Paid my dues, which is funny because whenever I'm talking to kids and they go, well, how can I do this? And I literally go, well, you have to hard work and loyalty. And it's kind of like a, what? So I got to work somewhere for a long time to get where you are. It's not an easy road. You know, you lose a lot. I've lost relationships over this. But sometimes you have to see the higher purpose and hit the afterburner.
The afterburner. And that's it's interesting that you say that because, you know, sometimes people don't realize the cost of success, and there is a price of success. And sometimes you don't know what exactly it will cost, and relationships are a thing. But I always feel like if you have a dream, you know, you have to pursue those dreams by any means necessary. The heroes that we know about growing up, the Jim Browns, the Muhammad Alis, the Michael Jordans, the any color, creed, or race, it doesn't matter who we are, you know, the John McEnroes. There's a level of sacrifice, of loss that you have to have, but they accept that because I have a goal and nothing's going to stop me from obtaining that goal. So whether it's, you know, you got to clean toilets or you got to do something else, you have to figure out what your level of acceptance is going to be, and then are you willing to go past that to get where you want to go. So there's so much value in what you just said for the younger kids, because I feel like nowadays, you know, with technology, and I know we're all older, as we're all getting older, we get the back in my day stories, right? I never thought that would be me, but I
know,
say
right?
it all the time. But I feel like with technology, the attention span of younger individuals is so short that they don't know how to commit. And because this world is set on likes and comments and things of that nature, they need to understand that you're not going to get likes in real life on your way to the goal. You'll get them when you're at the goal.
Oh, so, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, you know, it's funny you say that. I base goals off of painters. A lot of these painters are dead. Then their stuff sells for millions of dollars. Yeah. Then we like it. Like, that's how it goes. I mean, but it's that instant gratification is literally what it is. You know, you literally want to go from being, you know, cleaning toilets to being in a car. But if you got in the car first, you're not going to accept cleaning toilets. I'm not above that. You know, Elaine and Chris goes, yo, we need the bathrooms clean. I'm like, I've done it before. You know, it's, you know, and that's what, honestly, that's what they need to do. They really need to learn. You know, you can't walk in with that driver mentality because you'll never be the driver. Everything will be above you, you know, below you. So that's why I talk about that hard work and loyalty. You still have to be able to get dirty. I have no idea how Elaine keeps her hands clean at the end of the someone like, I've seen what you're doing. I do the same thing and I get dirty. I haven't been able to finesse it yet like that. So we still get dirty. Even as drivers, we still get dirty, you know, and
that's the real part of racing, right? Like, that's, like you get so much glitz and glamour of it, but it's like the grime. That's a real thing. When you peel back the layers, like, there's a real dirty part of this.
Go grab the exhaust pipe and hold it up for me. Okay, here you are, the only one in a fire suit, 90 degrees, and guess what you're doing? Holding up the exhaust cable. Everyone else is wearing normal clothes, but you know, it's you know, how do I put it? James Brown song, my favorite James Brown songs to play is "I Paid the Cost to Be the Boss," and that's it. And it's funny because me doing that, I still have this thought that, well, I'm the one getting to race this car. Let me do it. I'm the boss right now. Lift it up. Me and my crew chief are just – me and Mike Mathis, literally. Mike Mathis knows so much about jet cars. I love he's from the South too, like the country South, like the Macon area. So he still has that little the country. Yeah. Almost. And it's so funny. Okay, it's funny. All right, I'm going to switch to a race story. This is great. So one day I got in the truck, and – I pop open a iPod. I don't know whose it is. I'm like, cool. I plug it in, and I start bobbing my head. And I'm like, wait a minute. Who's playing Tupac? Wait, just keep going. Who is this? And Mike Mathis, white dude from Macon, Georgia, looks at me. He's probably I give him 6 to 10 years older than me. Looks and goes, that's mine. I'm going, okay, cool. You, yeah, that was hot. I like that. You know, and from that point on,
Like you can
You know,
pick the jukebox song anytime, right?
whenever me and Mike are driving, he'll just go through the radio, and I don't care where it lands. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's
yeah.
good. So, you know, and I guess that this is something else that the Marine Corps taught me, but I love Mike Mathis. So whenever he says jump, I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. Yesterday, I went to go check to make sure we have a race on the 18th. He wanted to make sure certain stuff was ready for the car. Normally that's the crew chief's thing. I'd have to make sure I got my stuff. Called me like, yo, I need you to go through the car real quick. I'm out there, dude, let's go through the car. You know, that's you know, that's how we are. And that's what a lot of kids have to understand. There's going to be people who try to keep you from getting to the top. And then there's going to be people that's going to help you get to the top. You have to understand to know when you're trimming fat and then when to take people with you. Don't end up like MC Hammer.
Yes.
You can't put on everybody. And it's some people that you're going to end up meeting at the top that you got to go, all right, well, me and you are cool. Hey, can you mentor so-and-so? Because I got somebody that can learn, but you already think you're at the top, but you don't want to learn. No, you're really not. Here is. And it took me a while. I've learned from a lot of people.
This is why it's so important for our message while we're highlighting the accomplishments of African Americans in motorsports, because we feel that it's not a story that gets told enough. But the reason why we also preach inclusion, no matter what race, color, creed, gender you are, because it's all about everybody collectively helping each other. You know, I've had success in my life that I've been helped by people of all races, colors, creeds. It's not a separation situation to where we're saying it's black only. That's not true. I mean, I'm talking about Elaine and Chris Larson, and they're both white. You know, you're talking about Mike, he's white. I mean, these are situations to where, you know, it's about people who share the passion, that don't care what you look like, that don't care what you do when you go home. It's about, you know, let's have this common goal, let's bond together, let's unite in our differences and do something special, right? And that's what this is about. So, you know, it's so awesome that we get to kind of hear your story and understand that there's so many different layers to it and people involved in your success. But your determination, your drive, your tenacity, and your vision is what got you I mean, let's even talk about this, right? So, hey, Chris Larson, you should have somebody in the back of the jet. Hey, come by the shop. When's the moment that, if you remember, there's two moments I want you to talk about. One, when you sat in the car for the first time, whether it was in the shop or whether it's in, you know, at the drag strip, whatever the case is. And then two, the first moment you actually fired up the afterburner. And because I'll tell you guys, I've obviously never been in a dragster, and I'm 6'4", 300 pounds, and I never will be. It's just okay, right? It's just not gonna happen.
We could make anything for anyone. Don't hey.
You guys can, but I don't have the testicular fortitude to even bother doing it. So it's all right. I'll leave that to you and the Larsons, all right? So I'm pretty sure on a lot of things, and that ain't it for me, all right? So when is that moment that you sat in the car and said, I'm going to really do this? And then the next moment when you fired on that engine and you feel like that power, like how
do I, you know, when I first, because I've sat in the car many a times, and it's kind of like being in an airplane. Once you sit in an airplane, you know, you're thinking to yourself, I'm not going to fly this. I'm not going to fly this. I'm not just flying. And it has nothing to do with just, you know, I'm not starting this plane up, and I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. It wasn't until Elaine goes, do you want to start the car? And we're running around trying to find a fire suit, was when I got in the car. Then she's telling you how to do it. That's when things start to go, wait a minute, I could do this. So the funny part is, the first time firing the afterburner, actually making the big fires, we call it, that moment was, you know, it's, the car really doesn't push too much doing that, but you can feel the power of the car going through, because we don't have a suspension. You can feel it going through the rails, and it literally just, you can feel it all in the car. That moment was, I don't even remember it. I'll tell you now, I don't know if I blink or breathe. when I'm going down the track. I have no clue. I'll go back through the videos and oh yeah, I blinked. Cool. Breathing, we don't know. But the feeling when I sat in it, and it's funny because I've always been taught that I could do anything, and that's why my back hurts. I could do anything, and therefore I do it. And once I sat in this, I went, "Yo, I could do this. I could do it." That was it. Now the afterburner side of things, which this story is a little bit funny. When I first got to feel the power of the afterburner, I actually got to move the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Was in Orlando Speed World, and Elaine goes, "All right, cool. I want you to go to the 300-foot mark." I'm like, "Cool, got you. I could do it right there. Got you." When I hit the afterburner, a good 700 feet after the 300 feet mark at 240 miles an hour is when I found out how much power that thing has. I'm looking at it, 300 come at me going, "Is that it? I wonder if that was it. Let me turn this off." That may have been it. At 1,000 feet is when I turned it off. And I look back, I'm like, "Yo, that was fast." She goes, "Yeah, you did 240 miles an hour." And I'm like, "Oh," and that's, going from, "Oh, I could do this. That was the humbling moment that goes, "Yeah, you could do it, but you still need to follow along. You need to respect the power. As we say in airplanes, the ground will always be there for you. So you need to respect it. You respect it. Have to respect it."
Man,
and
you just said 240 miles per hour, shutting it off at the 1,000-foot, and you weren't even really trying to go that fast.
No, I was trying.
You were looking for the 300.
I planned on stopping at 300. It didn't quite work out. I wanted to stop there, but it's from that point on, you start to understand the power of it. And I think I will answer another question for you with that is, you're in the car, you're like, "All right, cool. We did this over and over again." The real reason, we just talked about the dangers of it. The real question then becomes, why are you still putting your life in danger to go this fast? Because I could sit here and still talk to people. I could stay the crew chief and did the exact same thing that I'm doing now, but I decided I'm going to literally put my life on the edge simply so they will see someone like them.
And so you can live too, right? It's kind of like one of those situations where, you got to put your life on the line to truly live. It's almost like in racing, like they say, if you're under control, you're not going fast enough. Like you're not, it's kind of like you're on that thin line
on the edge. Yep.
For these 10 seconds, well, you guys, 2 seconds or less, I'm truly free, but you're right with the passion that you have for it, but there's a little kid in the stands that gets to see you, and I'm calling it corral, but I don't really know what to call the area, but he's seeing you there. May not ask you a question, but he has the googly eyes, and he's watching your every move, and he sees you in the car, and he's in the stands, and he sees the power. Like, I can't explain enough. And I've been able to sit in the stands and watch, and been lucky enough to be on the starting line in between Elaine and DeWayne, and just feel what that is. And if you ever had to take a turkey out of the oven and not use an oven mitt, like, imagine that, and then a fan blowing all your clothes off like an instant after, and that's kind of what it feels like. It's like super hot, it's super loud, and then it's super windy, and then it's quiet.
Yeah, and then it's gone. Yep.
Yeah, it's gone. It's literally gone like that. And then I love it too, because you guys, what you do with the showmanship is it's a as they're coming up, and then the afterburner smoke, and it's like, ooh, I don't even know if they're supposed to do that or not. I don't even care. It's just the coolest.
Is it breaking? Is it breaking? What is this?
It's so awesome. And I know that now, you have the Dominator paint scheme. But I remember, and I think I saw this before you and I had ever really spoke, but there was obviously you being a Marine, that I remember you had a different paint scheme on your car. And I don't remember what the event was, or even if it was at Palm Beach, but I remember you being escorted out by Marines, like to the starting line or something like that.
Yeah, it was Cat Muller's car. Actually, I actually raced that car a couple of times. Cat Muller's car, and they escorted a couple of Marines that were out there from the reserve unit in West Palm Beach, and they escorted Cat and myself out to the onto the track. So that was pretty amazing to do. And I'm like, dude, I need to take your cover off because I'm gonna blow that thing away. So yeah, I was
blow this sucker off.
yeah. Don't want to get in trouble? Take that thing off. Yeah.
That was awesome, man.
No, it was funny you were talking about the showmanship thing. You know, and every kid's watching your every single move. And this is why, you know, you'll never see me getting out of the car throwing my helmet. You'll never see me getting out of the car yelling and stuff like that. It may have came across the radio a few times between me and Elaine, just me yelling or something. But you're not going to get me doing that because I know how it, you know, it can get. But what a lot of drivers don't know, and I love saying this over and over again, honestly, we're not in the race industry is literally a subset of what industry we're really in. And that's the entertainment industry.
Yes.
That's what we're in. And until people understand that, you know, same thing. Oh, I can come out to the track and rah, 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 yo, 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 yo. And I'm like, and the parents are going like this to the kids' ears. Well, you don't get to hear. You only get to see. They still know something's going wrong. But, you know, sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not. You can see the angle, but don't let it out. You know, you see what I'm saying? You can show it visually or whatever. You can verbalize a little bit of it, but you'll never see me, you know, throwing helmets. I keep my bearing, as you know, don't lose my bearing, as we say in the Marine Corps, you know.
And that's being a true professional, and that speaks volumes to who you are and how you conduct yourself, and understanding the bigger picture that this is entertainment. I am an entertainer. I am no different than an actor. I'm no different from a wrestler. I'm no different from a basketball player, football player. This is just your sector, and people are watching.
Mm-hmm.
People who are looking up to me in my every move, and you know, you and I have had conversations about, you know, the racing industry. And, you know, it's funny when I created this organization, and there's some people that I know in the motorsports industry that reached out to me, and they weren't combative, but they were like, I just want to understand why you created this organization, because, you know, I don't see racism in motorsports. You know, I run a drag strip or I do events and I don't see it. And I said your story, but never gave any indicators of to who it might be or what the vehicle was. But
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want you to tell that story and just talk about, because it leads back to professionalism, right? It leads back to how you conduct yourselves, and you never know who's watching. No matter how angry you may be, no matter how disrespected you may feel, you have to, and it sucks that you have to, because when you're disrespected, you're disrespected, but you still find it in yourself to, I mean, go ahead, tell the story.
So it's easy, you know, how do I put it? You know, it's way back when, you know, it would be something that I would have had an issue with. But the way I explain it, the reason why I do the things I do, because I even think about the Black Vietnam veterans that came back, getting off the plane, getting spit on, this and this and this, and they can't disrespect the uniform. It's your professionalism. And that's one of the reasons why that happens. And I also have my uncle used to always tell me, no matter how high you get in life, pretty high in life, I'll give it to myself, that someone's going to try to get you to react so you can lose that spot. Like, remember, I just talked, there's only 3 people doing it, right? Or, you know, maybe me and 2 other people. So if I lose my composure, my bearing, what is the chances of there being another minority put in it?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to take those you know, what was it Jay-Z was saying, or I think it was Jay-Z or Nas. Sometimes you have to take the rocks being tossed at the throne, you know?
Yeah.
No, that's how it goes. You have to sometimes have to take it. But the story goes, I was at a racetrack, and a good friend of mine, he's an announcer. He always building me up simply because we're both minorities, and I love it. We've been in push-up competitions on the track. We've done everything. And after I got through racing, never met the guy at all. Walks right up to me and goes, "Yo, I don't care if you're in the Marine Corps, what you've done, you still N-word, so we can make sure we, can get this out, during the interview." And at that point, there's millions of things I could have said, but I decided actually to say nothing. Okay. Now, the problem was there was another minority there who's a good friend of mine. Whenever I go to that track, who happens to be Native, turn as a minority and a Marine. And I'm like, he looked at me, he's like, well, you pretty much just insulted me. And then it's kind of like, oh. I'm like, no. See, the problem is what a lot of these people understand is that Marine Corps thing, especially with minorities, builds a tight bond, a very tight bond. So like going back to it, and I've dealt with a lot. I've dealt with it plenty of times. I've been sitting at one time in uniform in the in my fire suit with my helmet like just barely off my head. There was another guy that used to be an intern. A guy walks up, and I always tell people sometimes you just don't know when you're being racist. He goes, "Well, who's the driver?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, it says DeWayne right here. The car." I'm like, "What?" Like, and he just, I'm like, and I'm dumb enough just to go, me. Just like, don't ask any questions. Just, this has been a learning situation. Now it's me. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
It's if I reacted to every single thing, I'd be reacting every single day. But some people say you pick and choose your battles. I am not that kind of human. I pick and choose how I fight my battles.
Yeah. It's so commendable, because the reason why these stories are important is obviously today too, the climate of the United States, I feel like it's gone backwards, right? I feel like we're almost in like the 1950s again, with just how people are treating each other and talking to each other. But even from the 1950s to now 2020, racism has always been there. I think I love America. I would never want to be anywhere else. For me, the flag represents home to me. You just want it to reciprocate that feeling from the government, not the flag, but from the government. And it's no secret in the laws and things of that nature that have shaped this country, but there's still a lot of people in this nation that hold on to those old world ideologies, those superiority complexes. And they're more so nowadays getting bold and being more verbalizing it more to individuals. And as you're doing your thing and as you're entertaining, and it sucks that while you're going out there doing your passion and being an example, you have to mentally have a conversation with yourself to say, no, I'm not going to punch this guy in the face. No, I'm not going to curse him out. And those are real emotions. I mean, people can, try to downplay these things, but, in business, in life, you don't want to be disrespected. You want to treat people how they treat you and have that reciprocated. And you didn't do anything to be the N-word, right? I mean, you're a Marine, you're this, and you're still the N-word. Well,
wait, hold on. I did do something. I won the race. That's what it was. I don't know. I did win. That may have been one of those. You shouldn't have. You're flashy, you're this, and you won the race. And that may have been, sometimes that just puts it right over the top, so yeah.
With what you have accomplished and are continuing to accomplish, and, that was one particular story of many that, you've endured. And I don't want people to sit here and think that this happens every time it goes to the racetrack, but these are things that continue to happen. But with everything that you've been through, a big passion of yours is also a mission statement of ours. is getting the youth interested in motorsports. And I feel that representation is an understatement of how big it is, because while I can appreciate just a football is my favorite sport, I can appreciate the Michael Jordans and excuse me, I said football. I can appreciate the Bo Jacksons and the Jim Browns and the Lawrence Taylors, like these guys who excelled. But I also appreciate the Brett Favres and you know, the John Elways and the Howie Longs. But it hits a little bit different when you're a young kid and you see somebody who looks like you accomplishing what you dream to do, right? So I remember getting, you know, sparkly-eyed, being able to see these guys, whether it's at engagements or if I go somewhere and let's say Lawrence Taylor having an autograph signing or whatever the case is. So for you, like, how important is it to give back to the youth, to be that example? And what are some of the things that you are doing to pay it forward?
You know, it's funny when you're talking about that. My heroes are still drag racing, you know. Antron Brown's still out there doing it. And he knows. He knows. I've told him before, you know, it just feels good being in the same staging lane as you are, you know. It's that simple. Same thing with talking to Tony Schumacher. You know, same thing. We can't have – Don Schumacher had to sit back and go, all right, and, you know, and ran with it, you know. And that's just how it is. And so now I feel that, all right, now the weight's on my shoulders, because now, you know, I'm literally taking some of that weight off and, you know, so I can divvy it up somewhere else. But what am I doing? You know, whenever I'm on the racetrack myself, I know I do have the parents come up. Oh my God, I'll be honest with you. I'm like, okay, I would literally harass their kids. I love messing with kids. I will pick a kid up, put them in the car, and they're just like, I'm like, I'm just not going to turn on. I forgot what kid I did it to. Yes, I do. I remember I stopped the car at the edge of the trailer, get out of it, and I need to push the car back. What do? Grab this kid, tell him, hey, put your hand on the handles, and let's turn it. Pushing him in my car, and he's just getting to push the jet car. Sparking stuff like that. U.S. Chemicals, what a lot of people don't know, U.S. Chemicals now are also with Blazing Trails with Elaine. We're giving scholarships out to these trade schools for people who want to go do auto body, want to do paint work. So we're paying stuff forward no matter, you know, what we're doing. You know, that's just literally how it is.
Talk a little bit about that if you can, like the Blazing Trails, the initiative.
Blazing Trails is an amazing organization. Elaine has bought it up. Blazing Trails, we do pretty much anything and everything you want when it comes to educating kids about our industry, about the engineering behind it, the business side of it. We go out to schools. We'll go out to high schools, explain, you know, what it takes to be a engineer, what it takes to be the crew chief, what it takes to do the business side of it, what it takes to be a driver. And we will take it out there and have all these high school kids, middle school kids, elementary kids, and explain all this to them. So imagine, and this is hilarious, when we went to a high school here in Palm Bay, and it was for the women's day, the girls' day. So the girls and guys had a separate day. And we were out there for the girls, and Elaine started the car, and you should have literally seen the guys trying to climb over the fence just so they could see the car. They were on the football field. They had the little green little the things going through the gate so they couldn't see. But they're trying to climb over it. But it shows you just what that sound itself will do, what it will spark interest in. That engine itself turns on. They go, wait, what is that? And they all run over. And you see kids from every walks of life, every walks of interest as well. Mm-hmm. Some that just don't care, and, I can make you care. It doesn't take much, because they go, well, I want to do this. Or well, I'm bored. Okay, cool, got you. Just continue to stay bored. And then when that car goes down the track, they come back and go, whoa.
And then even your engines, right? Your engines are one of the biggest, I think it's an F4 or some type of engine. I know it's a big engine.
No, it's actually, believe it or not, it's actually the opposite. It is the has the largest power to weight ratio of any jet engine ever built. It is
Gotcha,
a
that's what it was.
the engine, yeah, has a highest. It's from a F5 or a T-38. If you ever seen a movie Armageddon, when they're flying in a plane and they're doing all this stuff, put me down. That's the only thing I can remember. It's out of that airplane. We actually take one of the engines out of that airplane and make our own afterburner, put it into car. We take some of the flight necessary equipment off of it and kind of make it for jet cars. So these kids know how to do that. Literally, I just walked into the shop yesterday, and you get these interns just dirty. You know, what happened to you? Oh, I was doing this to be rebuilding this engine. Congratulations. It's fun. Yeah, but so yeah, I do a lot of things. I've been, and it's not even that. I show the good of certain people. I remember being at McDonald's one time, and I had on a House of Color shirt, which is a U.S. Chemicals, and the guy just looks at me and goes, "Man, House of Color, I love that company." Blah 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 blah. And I took my shirt off, gave it to him.
Wow.
Had a pair of Ray-Bans in it too, and I'm like, I lost those, but yeah, kind of mad I lost those.
Wait, that was a part of the deal.
Yeah, but you know, it shows that there's good people in the world, especially being a driver. They expect me to be, you know, a little douchey, but nah. So I pay it to everyone. If I'm in the car, I actually carry autograph cards in the car. You know, it's not until, I carry around, bam, sign out an autograph, you're good. With Blazing Trails, because being a part of it, you kind of have to do that. You know, the shop's open all the time. So if I go to the shop, a group of people come in, now I'm at work, you know. I can be there just to drop off something. So we're always blazing trails. You know, we're always doing something. We take it everywhere. We can adjust to any size. I've done it in conference rooms, at hotels, up to parking lots, up to, you know, drag strips like we do at West Palm. So it's an amazing opportunity for me to reach out to everyone.
No, it's amazing. I actually had the opportunity to see one of the programming when you guys brought in students. You bust them in, and
yeah,
it was like a field trip. I mean, there was like so many kids out there, and you kind of can compare it to like summer camp, right? But these kids are focused. It's not even like summer camp where the kids are running around. Like, you have their attention in totality. Like, there's nobody wandering, and you know, a drag strip give you enough to look around at, and everybody was just focused on what you guys were doing. And then just when I encourage anybody watching this to look up DeWayne Hill, look up the Larsons, and just find a schedule for 2021, because to understand the power of that jet engine and the sounds and the sensory overload, like, it gets loud, it gets hot, it gets windy, it gets like, but you can't stop pulling yourself away. Like, I never forget, there was when you guys raced one time. And the awesome thing about the engine is that, I guess, the backdraft part of it is very, and I don't know how you do it, but at certain points it's very concentrated. Like, it's streamlined right behind the car, right? But there was a guy on the fence trying to like cliff hang or something like that. It's like, what are you doing? And he was amazed by like the smoke show that you did, and he just wanted to get behind the car and feel that. And I was like, no.
If I've never done it, you shouldn't do it. Like, I've never, nope. No.
It's not like he was a little kid. The guy had to have been like 23, 24, right? And he was just so excited that he wanted to get behind the jet car. I said, absolutely not.
No, it's a little bit different than your top fuel. You know, it's fun to stand behind those. No. It's an amazing ride, literally. Both when it comes to the car itself and doing what I'm doing. And I don't, you know, I'm big into tactics. You know, they say normally when you go into a war, you should come have an exit strategy. I ain't got no exit strategy. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
There's no plan B. This is it, right?
I have no exit strategy.
Next? What, I mean, and then that's kind of like an open-ended statement, because you're doing so much, you continuously do what you do. But what's next?
It's funny. It literally, I came up with this idea after that first phone call. I'm just going to be a vassal for organizations, Whenever you need me, call me. I mean, literally, what I'm doing right now doesn't do me talking and doing all this stuff. It's free, It doesn't cost me anything to do it. See, I was doing it the other way around. It didn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
So, same when you look at racing, I get to put my sponsor out there, the Dominator Bed Body Liner, U.S. Chemicals, for Tech. I get to do all that stuff. I get to do what I like to do best, with the kids. And when those organizations need someone that can reach out to and go, yo, I need you to do this. Can you do this? Remember, how long were we talking on the phone before I said, I'm in?
Like, it was so quick. It was like, all right, Chris, don't say anymore. I'm in. Like, you were just all in, like, immediately. I'm in.
That's it.
Whatever you need, I'm in.
That's it. And that's how you have to, and that's it. Organizations like this, I love the idea behind it. So it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. If it's like Races for Christ, I remember when we were in Tucson, I used to call it, they call it Races for Christ. I call it Church at the Track because it sounds better. But we've literally had, the services in our little pit area. So, that's one of the things that I've learned from Elaine. It's a lot easier to say yes, right, until you can't do it. But I could do it and go, wait, this is getting a little difficult. Or if I just can't do it, like, they'll know when you can't. But if I can do it, yep, I'm doing it. That's it.
That's so awesome. And this is, and that availability is what allows, the kids to interact with heroes and people to see, what you're doing and what you're about. And, it's amazing what you get the chance to do every day. You're living out a dream. But what do you do when you're not racing? Like, what are your passions, outside of the jet car?
One of my largest passions is airplanes. I love airplanes. Believe it or not, this race seat is connected to wish I could take this thing off. It's a throttle and joystick. Yeah, and it actually have a 50-inch screen TV where I go flying. I have the little rudder pedals, but I get to switch and change them into gas and brake pedals. And then where this desk is right here, I can connect the steering wheel to it. So flying and literally fishing is flying and racing is my passions. But fishing, man, I grew up in Tennessee. When I go fishing, I stay literally right what you guys call the Intercoastal Waterway, the ICW, but I literally stay at the Indian River. Like, as soon as I drive out, it's right there. So I get bored and go fishing. That's how it goes. But
catch anything? Because I go fishing too, and I don't come back with any fish.
I fed a few fish. There's a little gray heron that's out there. Whenever I show up, he shows up. I've never seen him out there with anyone else. I guess because I feed him. Give him the bait. Like, here, dude. Yeah. Some's got to eat. Apparently it's not me. Every once in a while, I go out there and fish. I got a couple of friends who are going to take me out fishing, so we'll go do that.
That's awesome.
Other than that, fishing, flying, that's about it. That's chilling with good people. I'm actually relaxed, whenever I'm not racing.
Have you actually flown? Because one thing that was pretty cool that I was actually able to get in the plane with Chris Larson. So it's funny. He's like, hey, that's actually the day I went up to the shop. So he's like, hey, and it's like maybe a 2-hour drive from here, something like that. So I was like, okay, I'm scheduling out my day. He's like, I'll come get you. And in my mind, I'm like,
why are you gonna drive
down 2 hours to come up and get me and have to go back? And then he's like, all right, just meet me at the North County Airport. And I was just like,
right there.
Oh, really? So it was pretty cool to get in this plane and take the Cessna and just, we kind of riding the coast up. And I'll never forget, it was a day that we had to kind of take an alternate route because and I actually want to get into this part of it too, but SpaceX was launching some satellite or some rocket, and it messed with the flight pattern because you guys are so close to NASA. So we had to take an alternate
go out west,
and come in. and it was so cool. And even though you're not 33,000 feet in the air, it's like the perfect height that you can just see enough and realize how small, and just from the ground, things look so grand. But from that perspective of cloud, 10,000 feet maybe, it's like so little and insignificant, right?
Yeah.
So I bring up NASA because you actually were involved in security and safety at NASA.
Actually, we do right now. I do safety, so all the chemicals, labs, and stuff like that. Building of rocket fuel. Right now, we have a test cell for the new Boeing Starliner capsule, and there's test cells for all of the rescue people, just in case anything went wrong, for them to train on. And actually, we're doing all the confined space training on it because they're doing some work on it. So I get to go and stare at that thing every once in a while. And it's I'm telling you, it is a dream come true.
I'm like, wait, what?
It is a dream come true. I
Every
get to go.
kid's bucket list, like you got it checked off.
Told you, it's funny, me and my boy was talking about this, and I'm not even sure it's on topic. Cool. And we talk about, remember when you had your different kind of black kids. You had those that was rapping. You had those, especially, you had those who like karate. You had those that was in the comic books. I was one of those kids that grew up in the South that knowing those karate kids that was a more up north thing. Comic books was an up north thing, but I'm from the South. So if I saw one thing, my dad always told me, if you like it, do it. Just do it. And that's how I learned how to play the bass guitar. That's how everyone goes, well, how do you know so much? Because I was told, if you like it, do it. I'm like, all right. So.
And he plays the bass guitar.
I
played
like
the
it, do
tuba.
it.
Like, it wasn't nothing fancy about the tuba, but I played the bass guitar.
The bass guitar is not fancy either. We don't get the same popularity as the lead guitar. But I think Bootsy Collins is like one of the most well-named.
Bootsy, yeah,
is the most well-known bass players. Other than that,
baby.
Yes. I don't think that there's none of the others. So I'm just like, it's the drummer and the lead guitar that always gets all the fame, and you got the bass guitar player just boom, 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 boom. There's no.
But is the transition if you wanted to play, and I guess because like I can play the trumpet, the trombone, and the tuba, but my main instrument is the tuba, right? But I can read music, so tuba and trumpet and trombone your aperture is different, right? But on the bass guitar, is that transition to, I guess, a regular guitar? Is it hard?
It's okay. So it's a little bit harder. The reason why is, well, some people play with picks, but I play with my fingers. So it's hard for me to play a 6-string because I'm used to naturally touching the string. But I believe like a cello would be the easiest one to do it, play, because it is the same idea as a bass, plucking the cello. I used to play a mellophone, which is pretty much the same idea as a French horn. So you can, it's like playing a French horn when you're sitting down, which is also on the same, that's the same writing through music as the clarinet, which I've never played, but apparently it is. I don't know.
You played the recorder still, right? Remember in like second grade, you get the recorder?
Yeah. Rock out, pissing your parents off. Like, play out green. I don't know that yet. I don't know Three Behind Mice. That's it.
So my man drives a jet car. He fishes, plays bass guitar, and he's involved in NASA space program safety. My man, I mean, can you make a souffle? I don't even know at this point.
I just learned how to. I promise, this has been my coronavirus hobby. I bought a wok, bro. I make a mean fried rice.
Oh, wow.
I got the yum sauce and everything. I messed up a few times. I almost burnt down the place a few times, but I'm good. I got it. I had someone actually taste it this weekend, and they were impressed. Are
they alive still?
48 hours later, yeah, 48 hours.
Okay.
I think it's 72.
Because if they were impressed and then died, I don't want to try it. But
this is the best boom. Oh, but no, we're good. No, I don't think, it's funny because I've my family members like this. I know people like this. I loved whenever I try something, there's a million things I'm not good at, but these are the ones that I am. So And
I mean, it's super awesome, and it's a testament to who you are. You're willing to try things, and you're willing to put your neck out on the line. You're willing to entertain, to be the example, and it's the epitome of the role model in the motorsports world that we want to highlight. I'm awesome. I consider you a friend. I'm so grateful that you were able to spend time with us, and we'll look forward to doing the work with you and getting the youth interested in motorsports. And like you said, all aspects of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the person that sits down in the seat in the car. Like, even for me, like, one of my favorite movies of all time, like, if I could be Tom Cruise and being Top Gun, like, that would be the ultimate thing. But being 6'4", 300 pounds is not going down. But there's other things you can do, right? So
I don't even cut you. I want to keep you on that real quick, because I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna expound on that, because I'm an aviation dude.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone watched Top Gun. Everyone loved Top Gun about it. But the most important person in that plane was Goose.
Yep. Yes.
And an F-14, you can't lock onto a target. The radar doesn't even operate. They don't even know. You don't even know where the enemy is in the sky unless you had the backseater. So same thing when it comes to racing. I can't do a thing without Mike, and Mike knows it, and that's why I buy him his gummy bears.
That's all it takes is a gummy bear.
He has some gummy bears.
Well,
So,
DeWayne,
man.
I truly thank you. This won't be the last that everybody hears from DeWayne, because we are actually working together. He's going to be working very close with the AARA as far as, like I said, getting kids interested in motorsports, getting adults interested in motorsports, sharing his story, and this is our way to pay it forward to the sport that we love so much. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, DeWayne Hill, jetcar driver of the Dominator. He's a Marine. He is somebody everybody needs to know, and story needs to be told. We will be back with a new episode with a new face. And DeWayne, once again, thank you so much.
Love you, bro. Love you, bro.
Love
Here
you
for
too,
you, man.
bro.